Have you ever wondered what the real magic of life is? It's this: the moment you begin to believe, truly believe, in something deep within your soul, long before the world sees it, long before it makes sense to anyone else. That's when the universe begins to move, not randomly, not slowly, but deliberately shifting stars, shaking ground, aligning coincidences, just to make room for your belief to become your reality. This is not poetry. It's not fantasy. It is a law, a force, one that Napoleon Hill explored deeply in Think and Grow Rich. He called it definiteness of purpose fueled by burning desire. And he proved it through the lives of hundreds of people who moved long before the path appeared. Think about this. What if you walked through your day, moved through every decision, breathed through every moment, as if everything is already falling into place for you? What if you treated delays as divine timing, closed doors as redirected blessings, setbacks as silent setups? Would your energy shift? Would your posture rise? Would your eyes begin to see doors where others saw only walls? Because the truth is, those who achieve the impossible don't wait for perfect conditions. They create them through motion. They carry the vibration of belief before the evidence ever arrives. They act not with arrogance, but with certainty, because they know something most people ignore. The mind does not follow reality. Reality follows the mind. Napoleon Hill said it plainly: whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But he didn't stop at belief. He emphasized movement. Belief without motion is like a fire without oxygen. It fades. But belief in motion, that's an inferno. That's where the miracles happen. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you moved with absolute faith, even when your bank account, your surroundings, your past all screamed impossible? See, the dreamers who make history, they don't just see the end result. They live in it. Every word they speak, every step they take, every risk they embrace, it's aligned with a version of reality that hasn't yet materialized. They are acting as if. But that if is the bridge between vision and manifestation. Let's talk about fear for a second, because that's what stops most people. The fear of, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if I look stupid? But what if it does work? What if everything is already lining up, and all that's missing is your motion? You want proof. Every success story you admire has one moment in common, the moment when nothing made sense logically, but they moved anyway. That was their breakthrough. Not when they got the result, but when they shifted their posture, their language, their belief. That is the moment when success began chasing them. You see, Hill interviewed hundreds of millionaires and leaders, and one pattern was crystal clear. They moved with purpose. They acted before conditions were perfect. They spoke their goals like they already lived in them. This wasn't delusion. It was discipline. It was inner alignment. So here's the truth. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe you're aligned with. And alignment isn't silent. It's visible. It's loud. It's how you walk into a room, how you carry your goals, how you make decisions, how you keep promises to yourself when no one is watching. That is what it means to move, as if everything is already falling into place. You might ask, but what if I'm wrong? And I'd ask you, what if you're right? What if this belief, this posture, this movement is the very thing pulling your vision into reality? But you'll never know until you move. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to claim this mindset. I want you to decide that from this moment on. You'll stop waiting for things to make sense. You'll stop asking for permission. You'll stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Write this in the comments right now. I move with purpose, as if it's already done. Let the world see the declaration of someone who is stepping into their power, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. And if this spoke to you, if this shook something awake in you, then don't scroll past it. Don't let this fire die. Comment below, I move with purpose, as if it's already done. And tell me, what's the dream you're walking into today? Because every dream, every bold vision, every revolution that ever changed a life or shook the world began with someone who moved before the crowd believed, before the signs made sense, before the guarantees were given. They didn't wait for confirmation. They were the confirmation, and that can be you. But here's the catch. You can't just think the part. You've got to become it. Because energy is not something you fake, it's something you radiate, and people feel it deeply, immediately, undeniably. The world responds to the way you carry your belief. So ask yourself, how do you speak when you truly believe success is inevitable? How do you show up when you know your story ends in triumph? You show up different. You don't beg for attention, your focus demands it. You don't chase validation, your presence earns it. You don't doubt your direction, your heart knows it. That's the level of internal alignment Hill was pointing to, the moment when your outer world starts bending to the inner power you've activated. But that power doesn't come from information alone. It comes from decision, the decision to walk like the version of you who has already arrived. Stop asking the world to believe in a vision you haven't stepped into yet. Step into it. Now here's the real question. How do you do that when everything around you looks the same, when nothing outside has changed yet? You begin with language. Your words are not casual, they are commands. Every time you say, "I don't know if I can," or "maybe one day," or "I'm trying," you're shrinking your power. You're inviting hesitation. You're training your reality to stay stuck. But when you shift to, "It's happening. I'm ready. This is who I am," the atmosphere around you starts moving. Because your subconscious isn't wired by attrition. It's wired by repetition. Tell it a new story long enough, and it'll build a new world to match it. Your faith becomes a filter. Your words become bricks, and each step you take, rooted in alignment with that belief, builds the foundation of a future others won't understand until it's standing right in front of them. That's the power of moving as if. And listen, this isn't about pretending to have what you don't. It's about acting from the certainty that what you want already belongs to you. You're just catching up to it. You're not chasing, you're receiving. You're not hoping, you're expecting. That's the shift. Because when you expect miracles, you start preparing for them. You make space, you remove distractions, you clear the clutter, mentally, physically, emotionally. You drop what doesn't serve. You stop negotiating with your doubts. And the moment you do that, the universe responds. Doors open, people appear, resources find you, and it's not luck, it's alignment. Hill said, faith is the only known antidote for failure, not skill, not connections, not hustle, faith. But faith is not passive, it's active, it's forward-leaning, it's decisive. It walks through storms without an umbrella because it knows the sun is about to break. And here's where most people miss it. They're waiting to feel confident before they act. They want the fear to go away before they speak. They want the path to be safe before they commit. But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. And clarity doesn't arrive before you begin. It shows up as you walk. That's why Hill emphasized movement, not just mindset. Because the man or woman who moves as if things are already falling into place becomes the evidence of what's possible. They don't just talk about potential. They embody it, and people feel that. Let me ask you, who are you when no one is watching, when the applause is gone, when the lights are off, when you're face to face with the version of you that no one else sees? Are you still moving? Are you still walking like it's already yours? Because that's what matters most. That's what rewires your identity. You can't fake alignment. You become it. And in the moments you feel doubt creeping in, remind yourself that's just the old you testing the strength of the new you. And the new you has already decided, so choose again, stand again, move again. And if this hits something in you, I want to see you claim it, not later, not someday. Now, write this in the comments. I don't wait. I align. I move. Let it be your declaration. Say it loud. Let others see it. Because that one sentence might unlock courage in someone else who's still hesitating. And if you're still listening, it's because you're meant to be. So tell me, what belief are you ready to act on, as if it's already unfolding? Because that's the tipping point, isn't it? The moment you stop waiting for life to approve your next move, and you become the approval. The shift where you're no longer begging reality to change, but commanding it by changing yourself. And the world responds. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he said, there are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. Now pause with that. Let it land. There are no limitations except the ones you accept as real. So if the chains you feel are mental, then the freedom you seek is also mental. It starts in your inner world, in the story you tell yourself when nobody else is around to challenge it. So here's the big question. What are you rehearsing in your mind every day? Are you rehearsing possibility? Or are you practicing pain? Are you mentally stepping into abundance or reliving every loss? Because your future isn't shaped by chance, it's shaped by rehearsal. And most people don't realize they're rehearsing for a life they don't even want, through worry, through fear, through hesitation. Every mental loop becomes an instruction. Every repeated emotion becomes a blueprint. Your brain doesn't care if it's good or bad. It just says, oh, this must be what they want more of. And it delivers through patterns, through perception, through behavior. This is where faith in motion becomes your superpower. Because when you rehearse victory, not just think about it, but feel it, move like it, expect it, your entire being starts to rewire. It's not visualization, it's embodiment. And embodiment is what turns energy into evidence. So start asking yourself powerful questions. If I truly believed this dream was already happening, what would I be doing today? How would I carry myself? Who would I be spending time with? What decisions would I no longer delay? Because alignment requires action. You can't say, I'm ready, and then hesitate. You can't claim faith and then shrink when things feel uncertain. Real belief demands proof, and that proof is always in your movement. Do you want to know the difference between those who get what they want and those who don't? It's not talent. It's not background. It's not education. It's congruence. Those who move in sync with their vision receive their vision. The others, they live in contradiction. They dream bold but move scared. They speak possibility but walk in doubt. And life doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to who you are being. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. Life responds to who you are being. And when you be the version of yourself that already has what you seek, before you see it, you draw it in. So no, this isn't fake it till you make it. It's walk it till you own it. That's a different frequency. That's not pretending. That's preparing. Because preparation is faith in motion. It's what Hill discovered when he saw hundreds of people rise from nothing to everything. They didn't just hope, they harnessed. They didn't just plan, they performed. They walked with inner permission. But let me get real with you for a moment. You're going to have days where none of this feels true. Days where the vision feels distant. Where your circumstances try to whisper lies into your ear. Where the outside world screams, you're crazy for believing. And that's when your discipline becomes your defiance. That's when you walk anyway. Not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because it's who you've decided to become. You see, emotion might get you started, but identity is what keeps you moving. That's why this is more than just motivation. This is transformation. Because if you shift how you see yourself, you'll shift what you attract. You'll no longer chase opportunities. You'll become one. And people will feel it. Without you saying a word, they'll feel the difference between someone who wants to be great and someone who knows they are. So I want to challenge you now, deeper than before. What does the highest version of you do when life tests your belief? Do they shrink, or do they rise? Do they wait, or do they walk forward? Tell me in the comments. Write this now. My belief moves me before results appear, not after, not when it's safe, not when it's obvious, right? Now, because you already know the universe doesn't reward the hesitant, it rewards the aligned. And if you're still listening, if your heart is still pulling you forward right now, it means your future is already calling. You just have to answer. So, what would your life look like if you fully moved, as if everything was already falling into place? Would your shoulders relax a little more? Would your decisions come faster, smoother, bolder? Would your voice shake less when you speak your truth? If you knew, deep in your bones, that every delay was divine, that every closed door was redirecting you, that every no was a sacred step toward a bigger yes, how differently would you carry yourself right now? Because that's the power of walking in alignment with a future that hasn't arrived yet. You start to match its rhythm before it plays the music. And eventually, the world starts dancing to the beat you've been holding in your heart. But here's the reality: most people are waiting for the music before they move. They wait for the external to validate the internal. They wait for signs instead of becoming the sign, and that's where everything slows down, because the universe isn't moved by indecision. It's moved by certainty, by conviction, by energy so clear, so anchored, so vibrant that it pulls reality into formation like gravity. Napoleon Hill knew this. He saw it in every story, every outlier, every unstoppable achiever. They had this inner fire, not just of belief, but of embodied decision. They weren't interested in trying. They were becoming, and becoming leaves no room for maybe. Let's get raw for a second. What are you still hesitating on that the future version of you has already mastered? What are you negotiating with that they've already released? If you could see the person you're becoming standing in front of you, would you even recognize yourself? Because that version of you, they don't overthink their worth. They don't stall at every fork in the road. They don't dilute their power to please the room. They move with calm confidence even when chaos surrounds them. And here's the truth most people avoid. You'll never feel ready. Not in the beginning. Growth doesn't ask for your comfort. It demands your trust. Faith isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move with it. The greats weren't fearless. They just got tired of letting fear hold the pen. They snatched it back and said, "This is my story. I'll write it in bold. And maybe it's time you did too." Because here's what's wild. When you move as if everything is already falling into place, the world shifts with you. Not instantly, not without resistance, but undeniably. You start to see patterns where there used to be chaos. You start to meet people who mirror your momentum. You start to land in rooms you once felt too small to enter. Why? Because now you're magnetic. You're not seeking proof. You're becoming the proof. Your frequency changed, and frequency doesn't lie. It attracts what's in harmony. It repels what's out of sync. That's not magic. That's physics. But none of it happens if you don't move. So I want you to hear this. You are not behind. You are not late. You're exactly on time for the life that is waiting on your courage. This is your reminder that you don't have to have all the answers to start. You just need to stop waiting for permission to believe. What if right now, not later, not tomorrow, but now, you started living like your breakthrough is inevitable, like it's not a question of if, but when? What if you stopped measuring progress by what the world sees and started measuring it by how aligned your energy feels? That's when everything accelerates, because your life is listening. Every action you take is a signal, every thought a ripple, every belief a brick in the unseen foundation of your future. So what are you building with your beliefs? Are they strong enough to hold the weight of the dream you're chasing? Because weak belief collapses under pressure, but solid embodied faith, it bends reality. That's what moves mountains. That's what parts seas. That's what turns the improbable into the inevitable. And that power, it's not out there somewhere. It's already in you. You've just been talking yourself out of it for too long, distracting yourself, doubting yourself, waiting for the world to say, go. So let this be your green light. Let this be your moment. And if this is landing in your heart right now, if your soul is leaning forward while I speak, don't ignore it. Don't scroll past your shift. Let it land. Then write in the comments right now, I am ready. My belief is louder than my fear. Let it be your signal, not to me, not to the algorithm, but to yourself, to your future, to the version of you that's already waiting on the other side of motion. Because the minute you decide, fully, completely, unapologetically, the world starts rearranging itself around that decision. So what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for a guarantee, a perfect plan, a sign so obvious it screams louder than your own hesitation? But what if I told you you're the sign? What if the very fact that you're still here, still listening, still breathing with that tiny fire in your chest is all the confirmation you'll ever need? Because people like you, the ones who feel deeply, who dream fiercely, who carry invisible weight while building visible futures, you're not ordinary, you're built to lead. You're wired to rise. You're meant to move mountains, not sit beneath them. But here's the painful truth. Your dream will wait until you stop. It will wait until you choose your fear one more time. It will wait while you keep asking for opinions instead of owning your power. It will wait while you wait. And then one day, you'll look back and realize the only thing missing was motion. That's what separates legends from regret. That's what Napoleon Hill knew. The people who lived their dreams didn't live perfect lives. They just refused to wait for life to hand them permission. They gave it to themselves. That's your key. That's your moment right now. So don't just think about moving as if everything is falling into place. Start walking like it's already done. Start speaking like it's already yours. Start showing up like you've already crossed the finish line and you're just catching the world up. And if people don't understand, that's okay. They're not supposed to. Your vision was never meant to be crowd-sourced. It was meant to be trusted, and trust feels lonely sometimes. It looks like walking into rooms where no one claps yet. It sounds like silence when you're used to needing applause. But let me remind you, purpose doesn't need permission. It needs presence. So give it yours, fully, freely, fearlessly. And when the voices of doubt get loud, because they will come back to this one truth, you do not get to choose whether you are powerful. You only choose whether you'll use it. That's it. You were given something unique, a voice, a vision, a fire. And if you don't honor it, the world doesn't just lose a dream. It loses a revolution that only you could lead. This is not about hustle. It's not about chasing more. It's about becoming whole, becoming true, becoming real in the face of resistance. So if you're tired of shrinking, stop. If you're done with hesitation, end it. If you're ready to stop asking and start acting, this is your call. And look, no one else is coming to save you. No mentor, no algorithm, no secret map, because you already know the way. You are the way. That's the unspoken truth Hill was always pointing toward. He gave you the principles, the mindset, the philosophy. But the final step, it's always yours to take. And you take it when you move, as if it's already happening. Because when you move in faith, the world moves with you every single time. So right now, wherever you are, whatever your situation, I dare you stand up in your spirit, rise in your mind, level up in your energy, and walk into the world like it already belongs to you, because it does. And when people ask, how did you do it? You won't have to explain. They'll see it in your posture. They'll hear it in your voice. They'll feel it in your presence. Because you didn't wait for life to give you proof. You became the proof. So now, as we close this message, I ask you one last time, who are you willing to become when no one is watching, but everything is unfolding? Answer with your action. Answer with your energy. And if this has touched something real inside you, something sacred, something bold, something unstoppable, don't let it go silent. Drop this in the comments right now. I am the evidence. I move as if it's already mine. Let that be your final echo. Let that be your beginning. Because if you've made it this far, if your heart is still lit, still locked in, still burning, you weren't just meant to hear this. You were meant to live it. Now go and move, as if everything is already falling into place. Because it is.